Good morning and thank you for joining us. It is 6 a.m. on your Saturday. I am Jacob Kittilstad. Turning now to news. In Coahoma County, authorities say 2 people are dead after a weekend shooting. Clarksdale police responded to the call early Saturday morning. There is another superbug outbreak at a renowned hospital and what federal health officials are calling a milestone in pharmaceuticals. Don Champion has a look at some of your week's top medical stories. Now to the city of Brookhaven. A mom and her 2 children are expected to recover from their injuries that happened in the same shooting that killed 2 family members. On Friday, Brookhaven police say a gunman shot Victoria Sims and her 2 children. Turning now to national news, 14 teenagers are suspects in a sexual assault investigation. Authorities say the assaults were against students at Venice High School. The Rankin County Sheriff's Department is asking for your help identifying a person responsible for a hit and run that seriously injured an 18-year-old. Sheriff Brian Bailey says it happened Friday night on East Mountain Creek Road near Florence. Doesn't that watermelon look good there? Good morning. It's just before 6:30 on your Saturday. And if you're planning on having a picnic, maybe enjoying some watermelon, well, let's get John Mayer out here to talk about what you might expect out on the picnic blanket. John.
I think you can expect plenty of ants. That's the one thing I would expect.
Cupid is kind of an odd character.
Yeah. A baby in a diaper with wings and a bow and arrow.
Deciding who falls in love.
Yeah.
It's very odd. That shouldn't be a decision left up to a child, much less an infant.
It's not even potty trained.
So say that again about the sequential date that we have going on.
It's 12, 13, 14. Last time we'll have one like that in this century.
That's wrong, John.
Is it?
Well, coming up in 2034, we'll have January 2nd, 2034. That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's something you have to do so you won't be late for your appointments come Monday morning.
Now, let's look at the sunny side of this. If you have to work overnight, you work 1 less hour. And if you're salaried, you even get paid for it. Number 2, I wanted it to be as scary as possible.
All right.
So I carved this thing up, and I carved it with the scariest thing I knew. So I know that you've probably seen jack-o'-lantern pumpkin before, but have you ever seen a John-o'-lantern watermelon before?
Wow.
I know you can probably see that pretty good, but we have some video of it all lit up as well. Let's take a look at that. And there's something that you want to remind all the husbands, boyfriends out there of today.
Remember the sweetest day. You got to get out there, get that candy. I had no idea. Candy. I didn't either.
I barely know what sweetest day is.
It's a holiday.
We'll say that. Knockoff Valentine's Day. That's what it is. All right. Thank you very much, John. Well, thank you, Byron. This gentleman's name is Bradford Evans. He lives in the Camden community, and he's as sharp as ever. In fact, he's still driving. Not a car, mind you, but, well, just take a look. Reversing a 4-wheeler from his son's carport, Bradford Evans, a pretty spry guy for a 105-year-old, maneuvers it like a man a fraction of his age. Are you retired, or what are you up to right now?
I ain't up to nothing.
Well, witnesses say that they heard multiple shots before tires squealing out of the parking lot. Now, that person would be stopped about a mile away on Myrtlewood Drive. Dozens of numbered signs mark where bullet casings fell at the Village Apartments.
Opened up my door and I looked outside and I saw the cops firing. I didn't know what else to think. I just knew I was getting myself inside where I was safe, locking the doors up, and that was it. I mean, I saw them firing towards the gate. I knew that I'm getting out of the way. I ain't going out there. I haven't had this in a long time, and this is the first time in a while it's been this bad.
Squad cars flew down Raymond Road to catch up with the suspect riding in a stolen Chevy Caprice. That vehicle is the reason police approached the man who drove off, hitting officers and other vehicles in the process. Here, the Louisiana State Mobile Command Center is just backing up. Just beyond that, you can see the bank where those 3 hostages are being held. Now, it was just confirmed to us that authorities are in talks with this man, who is a local man. They actually say that he's been around here his entire life. There were some rumors going around that he was not from this area. He, in fact, is. It's unclear exactly what his motivation is, if he was trying to rob this bank or if he was trying to prompt something
something else by police that's still being investigated. But what we do know is that 3 people are inside, reportedly handcuffed and at gunpoint. And again, that is the top priority of authorities on scene. That's what they're telling us. They're saying that this is a long way from being over. So we're going to stay on scene, continuing to get you answers from the WJTV mobile newsroom. Back to you.
Welcome back to the show. Well, this week marks the return of our series, Farm Families of Mississippi. Now, with it being winter and all, you might be asking yourself, what are they going to be showing us? Empty fields? Nothing's growing out there. Well, I've got some good news for you. Catfish still have to go to market, and their fillets depart the Delta in this week's story. How did fillet get that way? Well, the processing portion starts just about here at Simmons Farm-Raised Catfish Incorporated.
Once we get them to the processing plant, we'll weigh them and put them on this conveyor and eviscerate them.
Harry Simmons, company president, has spent most of his life expanding this operation. The original plant could process just 5,000 pounds of catfish per week.
And that went to 5,000 per day, and went to 20,000 per day, to 100,000 per day. We kill the catfish. From there, we sort them, we grade them by the different sizes that we're going to fillet.
And let's take a look at the fish that we're talking about here. These are known as channel catfish. The average fillet goes about 4 ounces, and that makes up 80% of the business around here. The other 20% comes from sale of the entire fish.
If you ask anyone that knows me, they will say I'm a fish man. I probably eat it at home 3 times a week. Catfish sandwiches, catfish salads, fried catfish, baked, grilled, everything.
He could eat it every day, and if he goes to a restaurant, he orders it too.
Katie Prosser is Harry's daughter. It is a family-run business out of Yazoo County.
We grew up just right down the road, so he was always up at 4, headed to the pond. One time I asked him what he wanted to do when he was younger, and he said he always wanted to be a farmer. But now he's really turned into a businessman as well.
Good morning. Morning. She's had her share of catfish, but also after college, she went to culinary school. And so in culinary school, she developed an appreciation for the many different ways catfish can be prepared.
And it's regulated a lot more than the imported catfish. So you know what's going into it, you know how it's prepared. You can come out here and see how it's done. Rather the imported fish, you don't know anything about it.
And that is the latest goal for Simmons Catfish.
Grown and processed right here. USA product.
Branding themselves better as a local company in hopes people will take notice when making a purchase.
We do about 50% hand filleting, about 50% is done with that machine you saw down there. Most people that have ever tried catfish love it, and so that makes our job of selling a lot easier.
And by owning their own processing plant, Harry says it also gives them complete control of the quality, and that's great news when you go to cook. And I tell you what, I'll throw a link to some catfish recipes online for you as well. Be sure to check that out after the show. Okay, let's toss it over to John Mayer. He has a check on the weather.
Is it too early to eat catfish? Can you have catfish and eggs for breakfast? I'm hungry, though.
From Belzona, Jacob?
State emergency officials predict that part of Humphreys County could get hit by bad weather on Wednesday going into Thursday. Sharkey County and Holmes County are also on that list, and the more north you get, the worse the outlook. Last week, Belzona made snowmen. But today, they make ice cream cones, or whatever a customer wants off the menu at the Varsity.
Catfish, steak basket, chicken basket, shrimp, anything pertaining to that side.
Charlene and Billy Joe Kilpatrick have run the restaurant for 60 years. But this year, the weather has meant fewer hours open.
Oh, it's the rain. Still Joy. What do you think?
It's been terrible.
It's been bad.
The rain, the snow, the sleet. Like I said, we closed up one night at 6 o'clock.
I'm originally from Belzona, born and raised here. I'm 31.
Down the street, we meet Brooklyn Williams. She says she works at a local bank.
One day we probably want to bring out our sandals, and the next day we probably have on our weather boots. So the Facebook post about school closing and trying to get to the grocery store, that was pretty fun to watch.
But what wasn't fun, according to Williams' coworker coworker, Michelle Evans, was dealing with school closures for 3 days. Her son is 5 years old.
That's rough. I had to actually take off of work one day, so had to miss that. And then the next day, he finally got to go back, and he did not want to, so.
But at the Varsity, time spent shut down means less money. So they try to stay open despite the ice.
They call in on the phone.
Because they say the customers will just keep coming. Even during cold weather, you're selling ice cream?
Yes, sir. It's pretty good. You'd be surprised how much